I especially welcome Kevin's family, including Kathy, Wayne, Julie and Glenn. At this time we also remember in prayerful remembrance Kevin's parents, John and Eileen. We come together this morning at this time to commemorate, to pray and to lay Kevin to rest in Australian soil. He has come home to Queensland at long last. We recall that he gave his all in the service of our nation, and for that we are eternally thankful. We also honour that he paid the supreme sacrifice. I'd now like to invite Julie to come forward to read our first reading.
Liturgy of the Word. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
And I'm sure I speak for the training team, for all Vietnam veterans, and indeed for all veterans when I say, I never knew Kevin Conway, couldn't tell him from another, but Kevin was and is my brother. Rest in peace in Australian soil, my brother. I'd now like Kathy to come forward and share with us the Conway story.
Kevin George Conway was born on the 11th of December 1928 at Wellington Point. He was the third born son in a family of 8 children, 6 boys and 2 girls. His mum was a tiny Irish lady, Eileen Josephine O'Connor, and his father was quite a large man, John Joseph Conway. What a lot of people don't know is that the Conway family originally came from Russia, and the family name was Sluzerov, and when they migrated to Australia they changed their name to Conway. What a mixture, Irish and Russian. My grandfather owned a boat hiring business at Wellington Point, and from hearing stories later on in my life, all the boys were avid fishermen and helped in the business as they grew up. Kev, as we all know, joined the army for the first time in 1947 and left in 1949. Had a couple of years out in civvy life and rejoined the army again in November 1952, 1 year after I was born. From reading his army records, report cards online, which is what I call them, the army's probably got another name for them, he was a bit of a naughty boy at times. He's got a few AWOLs there and a few reprimands, but the army still kept him. Made me chuckle when reading these report cards because a lot of it was said that he was good at this and he was great at that. However, he lacked tact and impatience. Of course he did. He was a Conway.
I'd now like to invite the National President of the AATTV, Colonel Kerry Gallagher, to come forward to offer some remarks.
This is the day we've waited for. This is a day we've waited for, but waited for far too long. I cannot help but note it is Queensland Day, a day when we Queenslanders celebrate all those things which make us great, not the least of which are those 2 vital personal qualities of service and sacrifice. Today we finally receive home one of our own, Kevin George Conway, who exhibited so strongly and so clearly both of those personal qualities. It is very appropriate, therefore, that on this day, Queensland Day, we celebrate his return to the soil of Queensland. Sadly, the government who sent you there decided to leave you there. At your death, the somewhat ungrateful, uncaring government asked your family to pay £500, a huge amount then, to bring you home. Instead, they buried you in Saigon, then they moved you to Singapore, to Ulu Padang. They could have brought you home then, but they didn't. When Ulu Padang was marked for a redevelopment, they then moved you again, this time to Cranji Commonwealth War Graves Cemetery. But the team and others has, as always, persevered, and finally you have arrived here to lie for eternity in the land of your birth, where you can be honoured by your family, who love you, and your comrades who admire and respect you.
I'd now like to invite the official mourner, Brigadier Chris Field, and a member of the family to come forward to lay the official wreath. Colonel Kerry Gallagher, National President, Australian Army Training Team, Vietnam. The Redlands City Mayor, Karen Williams, and Deputy Mayor, Wendy Bulgari. Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Baker, representing Major General Paul McLaughlin, Commander, 1st Division. Mr. David Smock, President of the Redlands Vietnam Veterans Group. Student representatives from Bayview, Birkdale South, Cleveland and Vienna Wood State Schools. Mr. Alan Harcourt, President of the Redlands RSL Sub-Ranch. I would now like to invite the official mourner, Commander 3rd Brigade, Brigadier Chris Field, to please come forward to present the Australian national flag and accoutrements to the next of kin.